Hello and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Atlanta's Movers and Shakers. I am your host, Mandy Johnson. Today we are having a conversation with Atlanta-based actress, writer, and producer, Leanna Adams. Hi, Leanna. How are you today?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to
I'm
talk to you.
excited to learn about, what it is that you do. We shared about what you do in the Atlanta film and TV industry, but could you share a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Yes, I am Atlanta based and I'm an actress, but also a writer and sometimes filmmaker and producer. And I've moved to Atlanta 4 times, but I've been here now since 2011. But it is a transient town. But this time I've been here and I have no plans to leave. And I have been an actress and then not been an actress and just been a business writer. And then I came back to it when I visited a sketch comedy theater in 2011, Sketchworks Comedy. And I thought that I can't not do that. I have to do comedy. This is why I'm here, is to, give joy, receive joy. And I started to throw myself into shows, writing and acting. And over time I realized, oh, I could film these. This was a little scene right here. We could film this. And I joined with a partner, and we formed a Decent Humans on YouTube, and we started filming a sketch every 2 weeks. And it was kind of my own little film school where you learn it's harder to shoot outside. There's these variables that you can't count on, and it was just a lot of great learning. And then after a couple years of doing that, I realized I want to tell bigger, longer, more meaningful stories that reach a larger audience. So I've been writing pilots and features for the last several years, and which is the whole nother learning process. And writing is rewriting. And for me, it's really hard. I'm not John Hughes. I don't crank out gold in a weekend or what, you know? So, I love it, and then it's just lucky to be here in Atlanta where so much is happening and there's so many good people. And for me, at least, it's been a good vibe of, oh, I worked with you and I loved working with you and I want to work with you again. Seeing the same people over the years on different projects, because it's a big city, small town situation and from my experience. And I love that. I feel really lucky to be here creating right now and trying to do what I want to do, which is write strong, stories that are meaningful, stories that I care to watch, and and that really feature a diverse cast and maybe a little different story than we've seen on the bigger level. So, and I love mouthy women. If I had a brand, it's mouthy. Maybe Southern women, but I think just mouthy women in general.
I could see that. Maybe like something
Yeah.
big mouth. That would be
Yeah, that be my new label. I need to get this made up. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. But thank you for having me. This is great. I love hearing other people's stories. So
yes, me
I
too.
hope we talk about something that's useful for someone else
Yes.
out
So
there.
you may have shared a little bit about your journey, but can you take us on your journey about how you started to where you are today?
I'd love to. So I started when I really think it dates back to going to that sketch comedy theater and seeing the thing I couldn't not do anymore. And I just said, how can I get into that? And I just started taking their classes. They have acting and writing classes, and they still do. They're awesome. They're like my comedy alma mater, my comedy family locally. And it was such a good learning process to go through their system and then start doing their shows and see how their system worked. And it really, they do have a big focus on the writing because it's not improv, and they find characters through improvisation in the classes, and but it's a strong emphasis on the writing. And I think you can be just an actor, and that's a whole wonderful pursuit and very noble. But for me, I couldn't give up wanting to tell the story. And I think you can also do many things, and it's equally as hard. So for me, I just started taking their writing classes and then putting up my writing to try to get in their shows, And then to hear your piece on stage, oh, that's some big learning. Things land or they don't, and the sketch sings or it doesn't, and that's invaluable learning. And I did that for years, and then just shooting, deciding, okay, I'm going to shoot. Now what? I'm on the acting writing side. We need crew. You need people on, behind the camera. And do you want to work with the director? Do you want to direct it yourself? Do you want to do it as a team? I just think from my perspective, just the doing taught me so much about who I am and how I am, and what it was. And just to sit in with an edit, see an editor work and think, oh, I could do some of that. I could do some editing. Let me try that. And failing forward kind of then too, right? I mean, you might make a stinker because you didn't know what you were doing, and you didn't know you were going to lose the light, or that the sound wasn't going to be good because of this factor. And so for me, failing forward has been just such a good learning experience. So now that I'm trying to make, bigger projects, or, longer, I feel like I'm using all that learning now. And because I'm really working on getting a feature shot this fall.
Okay.
And trying to, I mean, my strength and my weakness is my impatience. I want everything done yesterday, on my timeline, and that is not a thing I've found the hard way. But so for this project, I don't want to rush it. I want things to be right. I want to allow the timing to be right and the right partners to come in to help me. And it's been working out really well. I've found a director, and she is incredible. And she's so excited her name's Charlie Fisk, and she's excited to come on board and do this with me. And so we have a lot of conversations about how it's going to look and who can team up with us. And we've just been putting together the package so we can, it's going to be a micro budget film, but we want to do it to, you can't guarantee success. I think a great film is lightning in a bottle, but you can start with a really, really good script. And she's been pushing me to rewrite and rework it with my writing partner, Rachel Cross. And she's gotten us to, pay for this great coverage, which is really hard and also good. We use this wonderful screenwriting consultant, Pat Verducci, who told us every beat she loved in our film, and then told us everything that she thought was not quite working yet. Mm-hmm. And it was just wonderful to go, and you go, oh my gosh, I have so much more work to do. And I've been working on the script for 2 years. Okay. And now I have to put 6 more months hard into this. It's like great learning. And so Charlie's been really pushing me to do that. Just anything you can do to try to guarantee success on the project. And sometimes you have to go slow to go fast. These are the hard lessons that I every day have to tell myself. So that's been really good. And I'm excited about that. And I'm, once you've done a thing, you're like, oh, I can do the thing. I can act in a sketch. I can write a sketch. I can shoot a short film. I can edit a short. I can do these things. Once you've done it, you can do it. But before, it's hard to know, can I do it?
Right.
And, I think it's, especially just a lot of people have been raised to say, this is what you can and can't do. And that's tough to break past that.
Yes.
And it's hard and it's scary. But then you feel so wonderful once you do, even if you fail, you're like, I made a film. Look at it. It's up on that screen. It took so many people to make that thing, so it could have been better, but you know what? Next time it will be. Mm-hmm. So that's exciting. That's what I'm looking forward to, is continuing on and telling bigger, better, longer stories. It's such a crazy art that we try to do. It takes so many people doing things.
Yes. And I like when you said failing forward, because, when you fail, you have another opportunity to get better. So I like that. And I agree with you on the whole writing thing. You have to write things over and over to make sure it's right. I did a creative writing MFA program. And when I tell you, all those rewrites used to get on my nerves, but now I'm like, this is just to make sure everything is correct.
And you can really tell writing that's not been rewritten. It really.
Yes. Yeah, writing and going back and rereading and having a second set of eyes read it, second and even third pair of eyes read it. So yeah, when I
Absolutely.
write, I try to have my husband as my second pair of eyes, because there's going to be like a grammar error that I'm going to miss, and then I may
You
put
can't see the mistakes after a while.
no,
Yeah.
then I'll put it away, and then I'll like for a day, and I'll get it back out, be like, oh, I could change it this way, or yeah. So yes, I like that. Um,
Absolutely. Something I'm loving doing since the pandemic is having table reads.
oh
So
yeah,
obviously further along in the writing process and rewriting, but it lately I've just think it's such a wonderful way to hear, oh, I use that same line of dialogue 3 times. Let's work on that.
yeah,
Or this person didn't speak for 25 pages. Let's work. And they are present.
right. Wow, yes, I like that. Especially doing those virtual table reads. I've enjoyed these conversations. I really, before the pandemic, we were just emailing people questions and then having them answer them, and it was never like really like a connection. Um, I still speak to those people, but this is more like a one-on-one thing.
Absolutely. I joined a writing group at the beginning of the pandemic, and we've met every Tuesday night as often as possible. We skip during different seasons, and you would say things like, "Thank you, good night, y'all, love you," and you're like, "I
Right,
haven't met two of these people, and I'm just
right.
spouting the love, and I really feel it because we've connected. I don't know if they're 6'5" or 5'2", but and we've never been in the same room together, but we've really connected over the
Yes.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So growing up, did your parents recognize your love of the arts? And if so, what did they do to help nourish that gift to facilitate growth?
No is the answer. We were a sports family, and you had to play sports or work or both if you wanted to have some money. So, but I was always a ham, and they encouraged that. They liked that I was the family clown. And when I later in life got into shows, doing performing, they would come see me and encourage me to keep going. And I've wanted to quit a lot of times, and they would just not really knowing what to say, but would say, "Just keep going." And that sometimes is all you need because that's what you wanted to hear
Mhm.
anyway. So, sometimes I look back and I think, gosh, I wasted so many years not doing the thing that I wanted to do. And when I'm doing a theater production, I'm like, when's halftime? You know, I don't know. I don't always, I forget the lingo, but in the end, it just doesn't matter. You just get in when you should. But they're supportive of me now in that way, which is really nice. And sometimes I talk about what I'm up to and I can see they think, I don't know what you're saying. But they listen and they nod and they tell me to keep going, and that's really wonderful. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I started, well, I share this sometimes. When I was younger, I had been like 4. I thought I thought I was on TV. Like I thought, like before reality TV was around, I really thought I was on TV, and I thought,
You're just the camera could be anywhere.
yes. So like I started like writing my own stuff as I got older, because in elementary school, I tell people the kindergarten, but I think it was really the first grade. We had drama class. Because I say first grade because I remember doing my first performance in the first grade. I don't remember what my lines were, but I remember that. But we had it like once a week. And then I started mimicking my drama teacher, and then my neighbor and I don't even know how we did it, but we did like this big improv thing for our neighbors. And they loved it. It turned out to be comedy. It wasn't supposed to be comedy. And then I was the person to head up every year for Christmas, either write a play or write a story and put it on and for Christmas. And if we didn't do that, we couldn't open it for Christmas gifts. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's a good carrot to dangle.
And my dad used to always, because I ended up always being the director, and he would say, you're going to be like this big time director. because you're so bossy. And I was, looking back on it, I was very bossy. And, sometimes directors can be bossy, very A-type. And
This is a great trait on set.
Yes.
This is the person running the show. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, that's my parents always pushed me, and they would come to the plays that I would do in high school. I did the Wiz, I did some readers theater and some traveling around my city. I'm from Columbus, Ohio, um, going to different schools. So yes.
Nice. That's great.
So we are going to take a break, but we'll be right back.
Morning, sunshine.
Hey, that's kind of exciting.
I know. So we should
Grow
just-
up.
How was your day?
We need to move Kroger Industries to the next level. Maybe a Jay-Z in the house,
My entire life, I felt like I've just been this oddball. Am I not the typical black guy?
Yo, can you help me keep this place looking neat?
Nigga, you white as hell. Why you saying it like that?
Like, why can't I just blend in like everybody else? When it seems to be the storyline of your entire life, you really begin to question your purpose.
I got you, homie.
There's too much drama going on here.
I don't know what's worse. The hate that I get from other people,
But why do African Americans always feel like they're the victim?
or the hate that I get from my own people.
I just needed a break. I'm lost right now.
I feel the same way, honestly.
Welcome back to Conversations with Atlanta's Movers and Shakers. I am your host, Mandy Johnson. Today, we are having a conversation with Atlanta-based actress, writer, and producer, Leanna Adams. So, can you share a little bit more about what got you interested in comedy writing and how you started writing comedy?
Yeah, so I was taking classes at Sketchworks, and I was acting, and this is no fault of the sketch comedy theater, but I just felt like I wasn't getting the roles that I wanted, or and sometimes they were having to flip genders of from men to women to have enough people. And I just thought, well, you could complain about this, or you could show what you want. And so I started writing character interstitials, and that was it for me. Then I was like, oh, look, I could do this thing. I could write these parts for myself, for other people, and it just really expanded from there. I started doing my own characters and writing sketches for my characters, and then I started writing just for the theater. So it was a gateway for me, wanting to have a hand in the narrative and not complain about what wasn't there, but to show what could be there, or what I saw. And so anytime I meet a new actor in Atlanta who's not where they want to be, or wants to be somewhere that's maybe it's hard to get there, I say, are you writing? Are you? And some people, it's hard for them to put pen to paper. And I do think the learning curve for me was long and hard, but you can record yourself. We have these, a phone now. You can writing just by talking in your car and catching something. So yeah, that was my path.
Wow. Yeah, writing is like a whole, it's an art. There's an art to, especially like writing for film and TV, writing stories. Like, I knew how to write before I did my MFA program, but did I really know how to write? Because it was just like, I had to relearn the grammar. I had to relearn grammar rules and how to like tell a story and all that. So it's definitely art. So I agree with you on that. So can you share about your experience? You talked about Sketchworks, but can you share about your experience with them?
Yes. So in 2011, I started taking their classes, and then I started writing in their writing group. And then I started producing for a little while, producing the shows. And so that's so much work. And the people who produce, it's just amazing what they do. So, right. And from there, I joined with my filmmaking partner for Decent Humans, our YouTube channel. And for me, I really realized, like, I don't want to necessarily produce theater. I'm glad I did. I know what goes into it. I know how hard it is. But for me, it's just the filmmaking experience, being on set, creating, telling stories that way, and that my friend in England could see. That for me, just, I think there's no right or wrong thing to be interested in, and what part of this art that you love. But for me, it's filmmaking. And I still love to get back on stage. We're going to put up a show this fall. It's a parody of Grease called Bape. It's kind of a commentary on the issues with Grease. And actually, Grease sent a cease and desist to the theater in New York we were going to perform in 2019. And we sued the sole surviving copyright holder of Grease, and won. The verdict just came out, and we're going to put up we're doing the show again. And I wrote a lot of the lyrics and get to play the Kaneki role. And so I still love performing. I mean, that is kind of can really fill up your cup. For me, there's just nothing more exciting than being on a stage and feeling the audience have that joy and give it back to you. I mean, that is just amazing. Yeah. But when I think go ahead. But when I think about what I want to do day to day, it's filmmaking. That just for me is what it is.
Yeah, I love theater too. My daughter, she'll be a sophomore at Decatur High, and she's going to join the theater program. They have a very good theater program. Every year for her birthday, up until, well, of course, not during the pandemic, but we would go see a play. So we've seen Beauty and the Beast, we've seen Grease. The most recent one we saw was Mamma Mia, and that was really good. So she's joining the theater program.
That's great. Oh my gosh, she's gonna love it.
Yeah, so we'll have to let you know when she does a performance and invite you out.
I'm ready to see her. Oh my gosh. And I love a musical. Ooh,
oh yeah.
So fun.
Yes, I was involved with musicals in high school. I was going to be in Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, but I don't know what happened with that. I know I got cast, but I don't know why I didn't do it. But then I did my senior year. I was in The Wiz. I love The Wiz.
Oh wow. Yes.
Yes, every spring we put on a musical. And I think it's kind of the same at Decatur. Every spring they'll do like a spring musical, but they're very good, very talented kids. So it's like, that means I probably need to go help out backstage. So
yeah, you got to.
Yes. So can you talk to us about your production company, Mandy Productions?
Yes, I formed that to make a feature. Often you need to form an LLC to make a feature, and it's going to live for the life of the feature. And that's how you set up your bank account and get everything going. And so we've really been getting all the pieces in the puzzle set so we can get the green light and go this fall. So I wanted it to have, a funny name. I mean, Randy in British means
it means
how to put this delicately. Sexually excited. And Mandy, that's what it means in British English. But it's also a character I did on Sketchworks on stage for years. So she was just really fun character. So I thought, this is perfect for this production company for a female-led comedy. So that's its sole purpose, is to live for the life of that film so we can run, production through it.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. So if I could travel back in time and speak to 18-year-old Leanna and tell her about all the wonderful things she would become, What would you least likely believe to be true?
Gosh, when I was 18, I really just growing up, I grew up in South Carolina, in Spartanburg, and entertainment and filmmaking seemed light years away from me. And I thought there was no way I would get close to being able to do that. It just seemed like this out there thing. You'd have to have a family. Your dad would have to have been on The Young and the Restless for you to know how to get into it. And that,
right.
And I would tell her, you won't believe it, but Atlanta will be the third largest production hub in the world. Atlanta, Georgia, where you live, you will get in on it and you will love it and you will meet all these people and learn so much, and you'll be and it'll be a lifetime of learning and creating and collaborating, and it'll be so hard, and the hard will be what makes it gratifying. That person would be like, are you kidding me?
Right.
No, I need to be a lawyer. Let's get real here.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So we're going to take a break, but we'll be right back. Welcome back to Conversations with Atlanta's Movers and Shakers. I am your host, Mandy Johnson. Today we are having a conversation with Leanna Adams. What piece of advice would you have for someone who is an aspiring sketch comedy writer?
Shoot it. Go shoot it. I don't know how. I don't know who you know. I don't know who you need, but put it out there on Facebook. And another great way to just shoot it is to do a film race. I love the film races, especially the 48-hour film festival, because it's just such a great atmosphere of let's go make the thing. And I love the limitations it puts on you. You're going to get a genre and a line of dialogue and a prop that you have to use, and it has to be under 7 minutes, and you have a literal 48 hours to get it turned in. And the first year I did it, we did so many great things, but the sound wasn't quite, we didn't quite get the sound render done, and it was okay, because I was so proud and had met so many good people in that weekend. And then you're going to work with them again somehow if it goes well, or you're going to say, I'll never work with that person again either. And that's fine. That's good learning too. So I think I've definitely met someone in the community who's like, I'm trying to break into sketch comedy. And I thought, you got to pick up a hammer. You got to do it. There's no one's coming.
Right.
And really in our business, people need to see, they need the show, mm-hmm. not the tell. And it's okay to make something terrible with your phone and learn that you need to find a collaborator, or because there's other people who are going to want to come up with you and learn. And I don't mean young or up and coming, like age wise, I mean new to the business. And,
right. Yes.
And that's great. I've met tons of great people through the years, and
so
it's been exciting. So yeah, just shoot it.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. I did not mean to cut you off. So I'm thinking of another question for you. So we're really big on networking and building relationships. How important is that to you? And can you share like any networking events that you may have gone to recently or in the past?
So important. And so it's been hard in the pandemic to not be on sets and not networking as much. But in the past, I love going to get connected. It's been a long time since I went to one. I love going to, there's a film night called Mighty Shorts, and they are running out of Midtown Arts, I think, right now. There was one last night on Tuesday, July 19th. And so they pop up, and Roll Call Theater at Pont City Market runs a lot of shows and does a lot of industry nights, and is always doing something cool. So the Atlanta Film Festival, I mean, God, they have straight up networking events, for different people in different specialties, and I find that really, I love going to that every year and getting people to meet me there, and because it's more central than where I live. I think, yeah, networking is just so important. Those are just a handful. Let me think about more. I think, yeah,
Yeah.
pop in my head.
Yeah, I feel like networking is very important as well, because you just don't know who you're going to meet or the next person that you're going to work with, and just the different connections that you make. So yes, you shared some really great networking events. I used to do the Get Connected events. I don't think she really has those anymore, but they were very, like, I used to love going to those. So do you have any gems you would like to share with budding artists here in Atlanta?
I mean, for me, I think we all have imposter syndrome, or we say, I'm this, I can't be that. And people will tell you that. I mean, people have told me I'm not a writer when I felt like maybe I was. And so I do just think it's so important to advocate for yourself and push yourself, take those classes, do that scary thing. If you want to be a producer director, go take an acting class and see what it's like. And really finding your tribe. I think that's a thing I did early on with Sketchworks, finding a group of people who love comedy and love storytelling and work and live all over the city and work and get other experiences, and we advocate for each other and root for each other. And because I've had a lot of not great experiences happen. That's, you got people, you got problems, or, those things are going to happen. That's life.
Mm-hmm.
But to have people you could call and say, let me tell you what just happened on set today. That was no fault of my own, but super embarrassing. Or these things happen, and if you can just laugh about it with someone, or phone a friend, it's just invaluable. And you can keep going. Just keep going. And
Yes.
so that's important. And you can do it. There are people who want to meet you and are going to be excited to work with you. And then it's going to kind of shrink the town. And they're going to say, hey, I'm working on this. Do you want to come work on that with me? Or you're going to show up to a set thinking you'll know no one, and you'll know 4 people. That's happened to me before. And then it feels, I'm more comfortable. I'm kind of at home. It's not so other to me.
Yeah, that's a great gem. I feel like a lot of people in the industry, I know I do, have that imposter syndrome where you just don't feel like you're good enough. Why don't you choose the next person over me? And the person that asked you to do something, like, no, I want you. I've seen what you've done. But yeah, I agree. I agree with you. So what can we expect next from Leanna Adams?
I'm making this film this fall. It's called Class of 2000. And it's about exactly what you're talking about. It's about someone grappling with self-worth. At the beginning of the movie, they feel like they're not good enough. They've done things wrong. And by the end of the movie, they take down the robber. It's a comedy heist film. And but it's also about a class reunion, which I have recently been to one, and there's just a lot of comedy there. There's a lot of awkward from the old days, right? So we're doing that, and I have an Instagram handle. It's Class OO Movie, and it's a journey. I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring out how to do this. It's like I said, I've never done it before, but I'm gonna do it the best I can, and then I'm gonna try to do it again better. Okay. That's where I am right now, and I'm terrified, and I don't feel worthy, which is exactly what the material is about. So, and I'm gonna do it anyway. So, right. Yeah, please come help me. Let's do it together.
Yes, I can't wait. And if you need us to share anything or put anything out there, we'll be more than happy to do that for you. So you gave the
please. Thank you so much. It takes a village to raise a film too.
Yes, I know.
It's a team sport.
Yes. Yes, we're a community of people. So you shared the Instagram handle for your film. So how can people connect with you?
Please connect with me. I'm on Facebook and Twitter at Leanna Adams, and I'm on Instagram at Leanna Adams. and our film is on Twitter as well, Class 00 movie,
Okay.
00.
Okay, I'm gonna go follow both the Instagram and Twitter for the.
Thank you so much. I love how supportive you are of our community, because we're building something here, and it's really an exciting time to be here. I feel it's lucky, and it takes people like you who are in a position to connect and show people and tell people's stories, and that's so cool to me. Thank you so much for what you do.
Yes, thank you for joining us. And this is the end of our latest Conversations with Atlanta Movers and Shakers interview.